Item number 8, Bridge Street reconstruction from Cooper Avenue to Plymouth Street. Ben Moody.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of the council. Item before you is in regards to awarding the Bridge Street reconstruction project to the lowest responsible bidder. You're familiar with this item. We've come to you a couple times, May and June, and we requested approval to approve the plans and specifications and put the project out to bid. The project is basically the reconstruction of the entire roadway from the east side of Cooper to just west of Reeves Avenue. It's going to be a complete reconstruction from back of sidewalk to back of sidewalk. It includes a new water line, some storm drain work, and new landscape medians and electrical components regarding street lights, and also some coordination for the traffic signal, so that in the future we could help coordinate that corridor better with the new bridge project. So with the past approval to bid, we put the project out to bid. We recently opened the bid. We had 5 bidders. Knife River Construction out of Chico, also known as Baldwin Contracting Company, was the apparent low bidder. R.R. Horn of Chico came in real close second, relatively close. With Knife River Construction, they're subcontractors. We do have a big local contractor, Lehman Construction, that's partnering up with them to do the underground for the water and the storm. And Pacific Excavation out of Sacramento is doing the electrical work. Unfortunately, with this project, it came in quite a bit over estimate. I wasn't excited to see that. And there's a few, we went into the bid and kind of really tried to figure out what caused it to go over estimate and where are some of the areas that we could potentially save some money. Unfortunately, with the project component, there wasn't one item that really stuck out that we could cut. It was really an overall trend of being up about 15 to 20%. I think a lot of that has to do with us using numbers that were recession numbers. We're using data kind of generate our cost estimates from projects that we've had over the last 3 years that are lower than what they are. I specifically talked to Tykert because they seemed really interested in this project, and they did similar work in Marysville. And really that's what came from them, is that, hey, we're busy building subdivisions in Elk Grove, so we bid the project that way. So it was something that if they could get it, great. If not, it wasn't really aggressive going after it. Additionally, there are some specifics with the project, being with high traffic, being concrete roadway, being night work for portions of it, the traffic control, some gas line work coordination. It was a complicated project, unfortunately came higher than we wanted. With that, with the authorization, we're requesting that staff authorize finance to make the necessary budget amendments to pull additional funds from the streets and roads, using impact fees, using some additional water money, and we're going to propose to fund it with using CDBG money, available CDBG money that's usually allocated for sidewalk repairs for that project. With that, I'd be happy to answer any questions, but I recommend that we award it to keep in the theme of to keep the project going on a timely basis. It's an important project for us, that we move forward with it and award the project to Knife River Construction. Basically, approve the necessary budget amendments, authorize finance to shift funds around to fund the project, and then also allow Public Works to negotiate the project with approval. There are some items in there that we feel that maybe we could value engineer, that we want to look at and see if maybe we could pull that item out and then do a time and material on it, or change maybe the color of something. That would help us save some costs of value engineering.
All right, any questions of staff?
To the mayor.
Yes.
Ben, just a couple of questions. If we could click back to to the bids. I look at the middle bid on that from McGuire and Hester of Oakland, and if I'm not mistaken, they have extensive history here in Yuba City for doing some old renovation project, specifically Plymouth Street. And I think their history here probably led to their bid, knowing that there's a number of things underground here that have dilapidated, or the data just isn't good. Like on Plymouth Street, where we had some of the underground drainage that wasn't leveled out. It was pooling and everything else in those areas, and then they had to go back and kind of reconfigure what they were going to do to attack that problem. So I think given that they have good history here, and I look at that bid as one of those that's probably a good telltale for us. And so I'm comfortable with the Knife River, also knowing that they're probably going to face some challenges in this, given how the age of that concrete that's underneath that road surface and everything else. In the construction of this, are we going to be building this the surface for truck traffic in the future? And if so, to what level and what weight of truck traffic are we going to handle through there?
So the city has a standard for truck volume for a TI of 10, which was pretty stout. They're basically, it's thicker than any of the existing streets we have in Yuba City. I mean, it would match that similar TI to the east when we reconstructed Bridge Street from Plymouth to Shasta, which basically was 6 inches of asphalt on 24 inches of base rock. This section is a little trickier because we have some existing gas lines and AT&T duct that feeds the entire city of Yuba City. And due to that shallow depth and the inability to relocate it in a timely manner, we're using a geotech grid structure that basically it allows you to thin up that rock section, but to still get the traffic handling ability of that for the road traffic. And so we're pretty confident with this road section, with it being, it's going to be 6-on-12 with basically it's an I-beam, plastic I-beam geogrid structure that goes down on the ground to give it that stiffness to handle that traffic long term.
And then as it relates to truck traffic, I mean, with that type of surface, are we going to have to limit what the weights are under the 80,000 current allowed, and maybe limit the size of vehicles that can travel on that?
When it's constructed, it will be. It's anticipated that road is going to be a future rated for a STAW truck, for a state transportation truck. That basically any sort of truck that's legal to go up and down Highway 99, a Caltrans truck, ideally will be able to use that route in the future.
All right, thank you.
Through the chair, some of the questions that were asked actually kind of, and the answers helped me out. What kind of history does Knife River construction have with Yuba City? And I found that McGuire and Hester was, of course, I do remember somebody from Oakland doing Plumas with Yuba City. What is their history?
So Baldwin does business as Knife River. Baldwin merged with, or was bought out by Knife River, I believe in 06, 07. But we have a long history because Baldwin used to have, it still does have an aggregate plant in Hallwood. And so we have anything from recent jobs where they did the bike lane on Butte House Road to past overlays. They were even involved with SunSuite. The biggest one was probably the SunSuite Boulevard project and various overlays throughout the city. But they're very active as far as us utilizing the plants for maintenance to pick up asphalt for patch paving and different things. But Knife River is primarily a paving contractor, and that's why a lot of the component work has been subbed out to Lehman and Pacific Excavation, which are very reputable contractors.
Right. And I was just wondering if, based upon that, I was, because the contingency that's there, and it's kind of the idea that John Buckland said, gave me an idea as to what to expect as a usage of the contingency that I was going to ask about. So,
Honestly, the contingency, it scares me a little bit, but it's tight and we're going to make it work. Like Mr. Buckland mentioned, there's a lot of unknowns when you get into a reconstruction project where you're ripping up a 1920 street and doing a lot of underground. We're going to try really hard to keep it in that amount.
thank you.
I know that when we did some sewer replacement downtown in the past couple of years, we ran into quite a bit of old infrastructure under the streets, and obviously this is an older part of town, and most likely we're going to be finding all kinds of things underneath there. But certainly spending this kind of money on a project, we want to make sure that what needs to be replaced is done now. And if that means it costs a little bit more now, that'll save us quite a bit of tearing it up later after we've put in a new surface there. So, any other comments? Entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries unanimously.